Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. For this episode, I want to talk about Bam Adebayo and Heat Nation. We've entered a new era. Jimmy Butler, the leader of this team, the face of the franchise, has officially requested a trade. And while most of the focus in the media and on the news is going to be about Jimmy's future, what team are the Miami Heat going to trade him to, what kind of package can they receive in return, I think it's also time for today, at least, to shift focus on Bam Adebayo, put the attention on Bam Adebayo, and talk about how he's been struggling this season. And if the Miami Heat are going to survive this post Jimmy Butler era, Miami Heat, they have to give Bam the reins because he's our max player, our franchise cornerstone, our captain. But is he ready to take those reins? Has he proven that he is a true worthy max player, someone who could be the number one option on this team? I don't mean offensively. Obviously, we know that he's not gifted or elite offensively, but can he be that number one option or two option on this team moving forward? Can we build around him? So this season, we all know, has already raised questions about Bam Adebayo's abilities, especially on offense. He is obviously one of the best defenders in the NBA still, but there's been some concerning trends with his performances. And again, with Jimmy Butler's trade request, these concerns are now front and center. And we saw that last night. But before we do dive into the details, I also wanted to remind folks that I'm getting very close to 2,000 subscribers, only 14 or so away. So if you guys do enjoy this content, want to get more updates on NBA content and Heat updates, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot to me. So let's start off talking about Bam's numbers this season. So we already know those are down. Bam is averaging okay stats. Good for other players, but not for his standards completely. And we'll get into that. But he's averaging 16 points per game, 9.8 rebounds, 4.7 assists, which is fine. His assists are up, rebounds are slightly down, points are down, his steals are slightly down. But again, the biggest issue I think here, one of the biggest issues, is the mentality, his psychology, like his just aggressiveness, his confidence at times wavers. But he's also just shooting horrendously from the field. Like he's shooting historically bad. Um, his field goal percentage is 45%. It was 42% a few weeks ago or 3 weeks ago because he started off very slow. The first 2-3 weeks of the season had only a couple good games, then started picking it up a little bit here and there, but he's just been inconsistent and he's shooting 45%. Last season, he was shooting 52% from the field. The year before that, 54, 55, 57. So for his career, he's averaging 54%. His field goal attempts are down this season, not by a lot, but still they're down, and that's an issue. And again, the numbers aren't telling the full story. It's his body language. It's the way he performs on the court. And in the Heat's most recent loss to the Utah Jazz, where they got embarrassed and lost by 136 to 100 at home, fourth biggest home loss ever in the history of the Miami Heat, Bam looked disengaged. He looked tentative in key moments, just like Bam did 3 years ago when he wasn't really working on that mid-range shot and players would play drop and then they would let him shoot basically from the top of the key. And he was looking tentative in those moments. He shot 0 for 6 from the field. So his lack of aggression, his efficiency, his aggressiveness, like I just said, was like a big problem, and it raised eyebrows to a lot of Heat fans. And so here's the kicker. Again, this isn't just a one game thing. These issues have been building over the course of the entire season. And one big major concern too is Bam's performances in late game situations. And we've seen flashes of his potential dominance on both ends of the floor. But when the Miami Heat need a closer, especially now that we're going to be trading Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero can't be doing everything because they're blitzing him and double teaming him more than he's ever been in his career. Bam hasn't been consistent. He hasn't been that guy. He hasn't really been playing that well in these fourth quarters. And so, like I said, with Jimmy gone, there's no more hiding behind Jimmy's leadership or his clutch performances or just giving the ball to Jimmy in the clutch time and just moving out the way. It's Bam's time to step up into the spotlight if this Miami Heat team wants to stay afloat at this point, not even compete. They're going to be a playing team 100% when Jimmy Butler leaves. They already are an average team with Jimmy Butler. So without Jimmy, they're kind of screwed. Like they're exposed. But let's put this in perspective with other bigs that are considered top bigs in the NBA. Joel Embiid, even though he's been injured, and Anthony Davis, another injury prone guy, but he's having a really good year. The Joker, whoever it may be, even Carl Anthony Towns, like those guys dominate as focal points on their team statistically, and like they have maybe not Cat so much because he's a horrible defender. And Joel's a good defender when he's healthy, but Bam has all the tools to be in that conversation with those guys. He has the athleticism, the defensive versatility, playmaking, scoring to a certain degree. Scoring 20 points is not that easy in the NBA, but still, what separates those players is their ability to take over games when it matters the most. And Bam can't do that. He can't live up to those expectations. And it's going to be tough with Jimmy gone. Heat Nation is divided right now. Some fans believe that Bam can rise to the challenge, that he's our captain, he's our number one guy, he's our cornerstone guy, he's a max guy. Others think he's not good enough offensively. He gets psyched out too much and gets in his own head, gets too frustrated, flails his arms up in disbelief when he's missing like bunnies. But yeah, it's kind of polarizing now with Bam Adebayo now as the main lead guy on our team, with Jimmy, going to be gone soon. So where do you stand with Bam Adebayo? Do you believe we can build around him, or do you think the Miami Heat are in trouble? So let me know in the comment section as well. Jimmy's departure is going to leave huge leadership void on this team. Even though Bam is the captain, it's still Jimmy's team. Jimmy's the leader. They go where Jimmy takes them. And Bam has always been an emotional anchor for this team, defensive anchor, but leadership is more than that. It's about accountability, making your teammates better, stepping up in the crunch time, being consistent. So this is not just an opportunity for Bam. It's a test to see what he's made out of. So that's all I have for today's episode. Let me know your thoughts on Bam and his play this season. And let me know if you think he could step up and take over this franchise when Jimmy's gone.